In the corner of a small art studio sat a half-finished painting. The canvas was covered in strokes of color, some bold, some hesitant. But one thing was certain, it wasn't finished. Dust had gathered along the edges, the paintbrushes were dry, and the artist who started it, well, no one had seen him for months. You see, the building was once filled with life. Painters, sculptors, dreamers, all working side by side. But now it was quiet, except for a single woman named Elsa, who rented the smallest corner space. One day while cleaning the studio, she found a half-finished canvas. It leaned against the back wall, hidden behind dusty easels and empty frames. It was rough, streaked with grays, thick with dried layers, but something about it caught her eye. There was a faint image beneath the chaos. A hand, a light, a face she couldn't quite make out. She turned the canvas toward the window, and the sunlight fell across it, revealing that beneath all the confusion, there was beauty waiting to be uncovered. Elsa didn't know who the original artist was, but she couldn't bring herself to throw it away. She felt something sacred in it. So she brought it to her table, dipped her brush into clean water, and began again. She didn't paint over the mistakes, she worked through them. She followed the lines that were already there as if tracing someone else's prayer. It was slow work, messy work, but as she painted, she began to feel something stir in her heart. Well, weeks passed, and one afternoon an older man entered the studio. He looked around quietly, his eyes lingering on the canvas by the window. "That's mine," he said softly. Elsa stood frozen. "You're the artist?" He nodded. "Well, I started it a few years ago, but I could never finish. I didn't know how." She swallowed. I found it here, and I hope you don't mind. I tried to continue it." He stepped closer, studying her work. Then a smile spread across his face. "You didn't continue it," he said. "You completed it." She blinked back tears. "I only followed what was already there." They stood together in silence, looking at the finished painting. It wasn't perfect by the world's standards, but it was radiant. The image now revealed a figure reaching out through storm clouds, light breaking through the gray, and a single hand reaching back from below. A portrait of redemption. The old artist sighed. "I always thought the mistake ruined it," he said, "but somehow they became the texture that made it real." Elsa smiled. "Maybe that's what God does with us too." Maybe your life feels like that unfinished painting, a canvas cluttered with color and confusion. You've made choices you wish you could erase. You've stopped believing you could ever look beautiful again. But friend, God doesn't discard broken canvases. He redeems them. He dips his brush into mercy, works through the mess, and calls the picture good before it's even finished. Because what looks ruined to us is often the foundation of something divine. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6 says, "Being confident of this very thing, that he who begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ." Months later, the finished painting hung in the local gallery, and beneath it a card read, "The Painter's Touch by Grace." Elsa smiled every time she saw it, not because of her work, but because she knew whose hands had guided it all along. So as we finish this walk, maybe take one last look at that picture in your mind. A figure reaching out through the storm clouds. That's God, stepping into our chaos, not away from it. the light breaking through the gray. That's grace, finding its way into places we thought were too far gone. And that single hand reaching back up from below, that's us. Fragile, imperfect, and yet we're still reaching. So until our next walk, keep listening for his voice in the wind. Keep noticing his light in the gray, and keep reaching back toward the one who's always reaching for you. Until next time.